Welcome back, gang. We're doing video 2, which is all about scatter plots. The good news for you is that this stuff is simple enough that this will be shorter than even the last video, which is always good because the less time that you have to spend with me, right? So anyways, what is a scatter plot? Scatter plot is simply a plot of several different Cartesian coordinates that represents physical data. For example, the x-axis might represent years, the y-axis might represent the cost of a gallon of gas, and you might expect a graph that has a increasing slope on it, but a little bit of variability in it. One thing to keep in mind is that most times, okay, not always, but most times, the data in a scatter plot is positive both in the x and the y direction. So when you're making a graph by hand, keep that in mind, because instead of having the whole coordinate system, all you might need is first quadrant. So in this next slide that I'm going to show, it's an example of a scatter plot, and it's got some good things and it's got some bad things about it. Okay, the good things is it does include the units. The inches is across the x-axis, pounds is on the y-axis. But when you look at this, the title doesn't indicate what the height and weight belongs to. Is it the height and weight of toads, grizzly bears, men, women? We don't know. So you want to keep in mind, and I always say this, a graph or a chart is an attempt to convey the maximum amount of information in the minimum amount of time for whoever's looking at it. Okay, so you need to include everything in that so that they don't have to look elsewhere to find out what the data is about. Do not neglect all that information. So here is the aforementioned scatter plot. And like I said, we do have weight on the y-axis, height on the x-axis, including the units, which is something you always want to include, is the units. But the height versus weight, we have no idea what the heck that is about, and we need to have that as part of our title. Let's just hope that the information here isn't in fact about toads, because those would be some mighty big toads. 68 inches, 140 pounds. Yeah. Well, that's all I need to know about scatter plots for now. Down the road in this class, I'll show you how to create scatter plots on your calculators, but right now it's just a matter of interpreting them and being able to make them by hand. Adios.